So at the beginning of the year, I made this video and I asked you guys, like I do every year, what is it that you guys want to see this year? What kind of things you want to see? And I got this one comment from a Rui129. Hopefully I remember, grab a screenshot and put it on the screen. And what they want to see is me break down this class that seems pretty confusing. It's the Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator class. He wants to really know what it is and what's it here for. So, let's talk about it. So if you were to go ahead and take a look in your project, go over to scripts, search help, and go ahead and search this. And you'll find it right there in the documentation. It's a little hidden. It's kind of like it's there. It just might be a little hard to find because you might end up misspelling because it is a long word, long class name. But let's take a look at it. Now, right here at the top, it says that it is a utility class for managing anticipation injection, timeline stabilization, and quantum debug entropy during advanced runtime workflows. Alright, that sounds a little probably confusing because, like I said, this is going to be an advanced class that most people probably aren't going to need, but maybe you will. So let's go ahead and take a look at the description that we have here for it. The Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator is an advanced pseudo-mechanical abstraction layer for inverse runtime manipulation of game logic and rendering non-events. It introduces pre-instantiated optimization loops, context-aware asset metaphasing, and transframe coroutine desynchronization to enhance nonlinear production pipelines. Okay, now that's interesting. It says pipeline, so maybe it's not just for Godot, right? This may have been taken from somewhere else. And before we get into that, we can see here that we do have a usage example here, and it looks like that we just create this new object, initialize it with the engine sync, and then we got inject anticipation into the render pipeline. So that function specifically is probably engine specific when it gets added in. So it looks like we can just call inject anticipation into render pipeline, and boom, the frame budget collapses and all before the game even starts. So excellent there. Now, what is this Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator to begin with? Well, originally, let's scroll down so you can see a little more here. But originally, this was pulled out of a corrupted Git repository buried beneath the source engine. The Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator has become the industry most trusted solution for non-deterministic debugging in pseudo-parallel rendering context. And what it does is it's utilizing a phased hexacoordinator balancer mounted between the asset desynchronizer and the frustum disruptor. This device ensures every game object is instantiated before it exists, allowing for a seamless preemptive optimization during post-compilation. And with support for de-inverted coroutine recursion, the Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator allows your shaders to render ideas, not just pixels. And that's great. Now remember earlier I said that we mentioned the word pipeline, and that's because it can actually be integrated natively with Godot's anticipation engine, as well as Unity's shapeless mesh pipeline and Unreal's emotionally driven nav mesh. Light map baking? That's for mortals. The encabulator reverse bakes them using metaphoton synthesis, delivering ambient occlusion with the emotional resonance of a thunderstorm. It even has a null inspector that watches your project for bugs and then introduces 3 more, just to keep things exciting. Calibration is straightforward. Initialize the Perlin foam layer. Set the sprocket to exactly 3.141 frames per second. Offer a token sacrifice to the serialization gods. Usually an old controller would do just fine. And untangle your scene tree from any existential recursion loops. It also comes with a nonlinear get resolver. If we can take a look down here, we can see it right here. Being used in this function, and because of this, the commit happens before you even write your code. Merge conflicts resolved via quantum consensus or yellow. Memory leaks repurposed. Audio desync converted into emergent gameplay mechanics. Asset pipeline issues now considered performance art. Now, if you're an indie dev, don't worry, because it runs fine on a toaster, as long as that toaster supports ray tracing and dual stack WebAssembly. So hopefully that comes across and lets you know what the Retro Proto Turbo Encabulator class does for you. And if you don't understand it and it's still a little confusing for you, just know that it just works.